My top 20 character list was riddled with spoilers, so I decided to make some quick, spoiler-free blurbs for the characters. Ready, set, go. Jade Curtis, the most mature character in Tales of the Abyss, but later revealed to be a product of his amoral past, shaping him into a better, if horribly sarcastic, man. Yuki Nagato, hilariously overpowered quiet girl, but there's more going on beneath the surface, with the tragedy being that she can't voice it to others. Iroh, a man who has learned the horrors of war the hard way and is doing his best to teach his nephew the same lessons he has learned, even when it seems impossible. Melia Antiqua, a princess who went through one emotional trial after another, but still managed to make it through all the despair to become a true royal leader. Johnny Joestar, despite starting as a weak-hearted and weak-bodied individual who was hated by many around him, the guidance of one true friend helped Johnny pull his life together. Reiji Arisu and Xiaomu, a protagonist pair whose bond with each other is made incredibly evident by their interactions and teamwork throughout the series. Miles Morales from Spider-Verse, a young boy who is having trouble growing into himself, but over the course of the movie becomes a refined version of who he already was, gaining the confidence to do so. 9S, an extremely human character who is slowly brought to his knees by the despair-inducing world he lives in. KOROSENSEI, an excellent example of a kind-hearted teacher that changes the lives of all of his students, with an interesting backstory to boot. GRIS, an absolutely fantastic representation of the 5 stages of grief. GRIS wordlessly expresses her pain through her heart-wrenching animations and journey. Guy CECIL, a true paragon of friendship. Guy shines most in his relationship with the protagonist, while also having his own arc of overcoming his fears. PHOSPHOPHYLLINE. Despite having a strong desire to change for the better, they are forced to learn that change is not something earned without great struggle, strife, and suffering. Rintaro Okabe. While he may act like he has a few screws loose, the traumatic journey of Steins Gate brings him to the depths of despair, where he can rise up stronger than before. ZUKO. Starting as a rather standard antagonist, this young man is fleshed out over the course of many episodes until he is able to realistically confront his own mistakes and convert to the side of good. KIRBY. He's cute and powerful and he makes me smile. GUNVOLT. Fighting for peace for all people, Gunvolt's selflessness and maturity in all his decisions are quite interesting, especially when they put him at odds with others that he's close to. SHIGEO KAGEYAMA, aka Mob. An absurdly powerful boy who ultimately cares more about improving himself in other aspects of his life, seeing his godlike powers as just another trait and himself as equal to all others. Violet Evergarden, an emotionless girl with a strong desire to learn emotions. Violet's journey to understanding this facet of the human experience is a moving one for certain. Kyon, a completely normal high school student who slowly becomes accustomed to the insanity occurring around him. His evolution to understanding this craziness is an interesting one to watch. The Killer from Persona 4. A truly heinous villain whose path to becoming this twisted individual reflects the unfortunate dark side that lies dormant in any of us, should that side not be managed. Shuichi SAIHARA. A weak-willed young man who manages to grow into his title of Ultimate Detective, fighting for the truth along the way in spite of how much pain it may bring him and his friends. MIDNA, an initially unlikable companion who eventually recontextualizes her actions while also maturely realizing her errors and doing her best to atone. SHULK, a surprisingly dorky character for a protagonist, Shulk feels like a realistic interpretation of a young man having to realize his destiny, while also realistically shifting his own goals as the plot progresses. Simon the Digger, a true reflection of the hero's journey as this cowardly child grows up into a true leader for all of his people, confronting his own strengths and weaknesses along the way. And finally, Bruno BUCCIARATI, an honorable mafioso whose willingness to sacrifice his own well-being for that of others shines through time and again throughout Part 5.